virtual space and physical space. And the idea that the distinction between those two things is imaginary. This is all human beings doing something. Music is a mode of expression. Everything that we use to make music is a technology of some kind or another. Technologies just extend, as Jason said, what we are able to do as humans. So, with that in mind, it's not simply about making things look pretty on a computer screen. It's about taking ideas and making them real. And there's a lot of what you're going to see from these hack challenges that put that into play. I thought I would pop in and visit last night. The hack challenge started at about 2 o'clock yesterday afternoon with a bunch of challenges, and they were provided with a bunch of components and from RS Components and a bunch of content and digital assets, if you like, from MTV and Beggars Group, and a bunch of ideas and challenges from these organizations and from SoundHub and from FXpansion, ideas about ability and disability, ideas about the body, ideas about masses of content, how you make sense of it, but also ideas about how do we make music now, and what do we make music from, and what does music mean as communication between human beings. So that started about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Of course, we were in here learning things, seeing performances and all that while they were beavering away downstairs. But of course, the LSO, lovely building that it is, we had to leave. And we had to go somewhere else. So we went to the Innovation Warehouse, which is not very far from here. They kindly gave us their space, which was amazing. And we sat there, and I joined them for a little while, and we ate unhealthy foods and coloured beverages and all sorts of things just to keep us awake and keep us going. I thought I was just popping in to see how everybody was. Then I was going to sleep, because I had to spend all day in here presenting. I got home at 7 a.m. It was just too interesting. It's one of those things that you just don't want to go home because you might miss something. So many ideas, so many amazing brains, so many incredible concepts, and people just making things that should not be possible, which is amazing. And to top it all off, we had Sydney from Barry's Lounge DJing in a corner and playing music that, that nobody knew, which is great, and nobody could know because only you have those records. I don't know anybody in the world who has records that you have. And we were talking yesterday about how the records that he plays, I defy Shazam to identify one of them. It's that kind of collection. So having that as the scene set within which all this amazing innovation is taking place is fantastic. But there's one other aspect to this, and it's something that I want to emphasize, is that we're really interested in things that start at Music Tech Fest continue. They go on to have a life of their own. There is an incubation process that goes beyond this. Stuff that happens here, hopefully as an idea, as a kind of a prototype or a demo of, let's hack this together and see what happens. Next time we have Music Tech Fest, now it's a prototype. Now it's an art installation. Now it's a project. Now it's a product. Or we've collaborated in this way and we've taken it in this direction. And as Music Tech Fest progresses, these things start to become things in the world, real things that contribute to what the future of music is. And so we have a grand prize. There are prizes for hacks. There's going to be some incredible stuff presented to you. There are prizes for some of those hacks that meet challenges, that succeed in a particular way, that merit a prize. But there is a grand prize. The RS Components Hack Camp Music Tech Fest Grand Prize. You don't just get a box of components, although that's an amazing thing for a hacker to have. You come with us to Music Tech Fest Berlin next month and you show off what you just did. And that, I think, is a really kind of interesting thing to have, because it's that life outside of the Music Tech Fest that is the reward, that is the goal of these things. So that's what's been worked towards. So rather than just, let's make something cool and clever and then all go to the pub, and do something again next time, let's actually start something that could be our jobs. It could be our careers, it could be a new business, it could be an art installation, like I said, it could be a research project. We're going to see what all of these things are now. Andrew's very kindly offered to start us off with his hack. I don't even know what it is, and we spent hours last night talking about it. Would you introduce it to us, please?
It's a digital collaborative space, or rather digital shared space. First things first, I need volunteers. So the first 4 people to get onto this stage can join me in my demonstration. Quickly, please.
Nominating volunteers. There's one.
No, there's one, okay. And basically,
3.
Got 3, need 1 more. Basically, I had this idea, because one of our challenges was about accessibility and making music easy for people to tap into and start making. And so what I basically did was plugged in a few controllers, gave people really simple ways to sort of play some music, and particularly my long-term interest is how people interact with each other and make music with strangers. And so I've got 4 people who may or may not have ever met each other, which is an excellent start. Who'd like to play a joystick? Good start. You'll notice you can move a green dot on the screen. Can we see that out there? Yep. And somebody else with a joystick, you can move a blue dot. Could you get to the keys, please? And you get to play with a phone. You'll see a grid on there. And please don't touch it until I tell you to. Awesome. Right, and basically what we've got here is 2, just your left stick there. Yep, so we've got 2 characters moving in a very simple space, and when they collide, we hear a sound. It's the simplest way of making music. Now, the keys just light up an area. They're like strings. They can travel across the strings, and we're making music live here without me actually instructing anyone to do anything, which is nice. Incidentally, which part of the string they hit does change the sound as well. You'll also notice there's 2 zeros at the top of the screen. Those are scores. So if I decide to place a target, we should start to see a circle to appear on the screen. And of course, it's not working. Just a second. The curse of every demo. They'll start to appear as targets, which our players can try and hit. They trigger a sound and they score a point. Incidentally, we've also on the phone got a drum grid. So if you can start tapping some drums, we'll start to get some of that content in. I'm going to leave some targets, and we're just going to hear a completely improvised, original sort of creation by these people who are just interacting on a black square on a screen. And that's what digital shared space is all about. It's just making this thing happen.
Move.
And all I'm doing is giving them these targets. In the past, I've tried to beat them to put all the targets down before they're picked up. These 2 are good. Depends. Yes, I think you are. Green is the left-hand side, so yes, you are. Okay. I normally do first to 10, so thank you very much, my 4 volunteers. Digital shared space, thank you very much for putting up with me. It's okay. I can't stop it either. There we go. Okay.
Is this thing on? Andrew Faraday, thank you very much. Who's next? We have, oh, me, okay.
Me.
Your name,
Me.
sorry?
It's Asha.
Asha.
Oh, it's kind of crazy being on the big mic.
Asha,
Hello.
what have you got for us?
I will. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Thank you for having me at this awesome hack camp. I've had a great time. It's been really inspiring. I just wanted to make something that was a bit expressive and a bit crazy and used a bit of a weird form of interaction. So I made the Bendagorn, which, as you can see, is full-on straw mode. And what the Bendagorn is 10 homemade flex sensors, which use copper tape and anti-static foam inside. And when you bend them, it gets picked up by an Arduino inside, which then sends the data into Max MSP, which is then picked up serially. And am I turning up and you turning up at the same time? So if you brush over, yeah, more volume, it's good. You get different sounds. And yeah, just go at it really. If you squeeze the bass, you can sort of get some nice little pitch shifting going on. was my creation. I don't think there's really much more to say, and I'm conscious of someone who's going to be late for a train in a minute, so this is what I made, and that's me. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Asha. That's amazing. Those, hang on, I didn't notice till I get close up because my eyesight's not that good. Those are plastic straws, like sellotaped together.
Yeah.
Wonderful. On a cardboard box.
On a box, yeah.
That's the...
there is electrics inside.
Yes, no, I understand that. I do understand that. But one of the things that I thought was great is that it did look very much like a craft fair when I was at the Hackcam. Elio, in particular, was spending all of his time cutting corrugated cardboard into shapes and making things out of it. And I was told, and I didn't know this, apparently it is the ultimate design material, corrugated cardboard. It's amazing.
Yeah, I didn't even know, but yeah, I felt like I was at nursery again, just making crazy stuff. So.
Fantastic. I hope you take this further.
Yeah.
Asha, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
This is very embarrassing. I've known everybody's name pretty much as I've come on stage, and now I've got a whole bunch of people that I've been in the room with for hours and hours, didn't want to disturb them with mundane questions like, what are you called? What are you called?
Oh, Liam.
Liam. This is Liam. Liam, what have you got to show us?
Okay, let me just get this set up 1 second. Okay, so for my hack, I've been working with this device, which is called a Myo, and it's developed by a company in Canada who I do not work for. I just really like this technology. So essentially, it's a armband which reads the electrical signals in your muscle, so you can do different hand gestures and it will pick that up, or you can do different orientations and it will also pick that up. So for my hack, I've been experimenting with turning that data into MIDI data and then feeding that into Ableton Live to use it as a music controller. So can you see my screen on the... Cool. So at its simplest, I've got hand gestures triggering notes. Yes, it works. And then if I rotate my arm, you can hear it's controlling the cutoff. And I've triggered this one gesture to spread my fingers to change the MIDI mapping. So if I do that and then do a fist again, it starts the loop. If I move my arm, it glitches it. Just some pads into this. So on, you get the idea. Thanks.
Liam, that's amazing. Thank you.
Cheers.
Another round of applause for Liam, because I think that was pretty special. Thank you. They have a bucket of water. Well, a tray, I guess. And it has some Barry's Lounge badges in it. Can we get a GoPro shining on this, please? Because this is really quite something. This might take some explaining. Thank you. I'm going to ask this question of everybody. What are you called and what have you made?
So when we...
Sorry, we're waiting for mics.
Yeah, hello? Hello? Is there mics there? Number H2. Press the button. No, it should be.
They're also mics with headsets.
Yeah.
Let me just switch that.
Okay, headset.
Hello?
Audible? Audible. Cool.
Audible, what are you called and what have you made?
We're not really called.
No, what
anything,
is your name?
But we've made something called Waterdog for kind of spurious reasons.
No, you're missing my question. What is your name?
Oh, right. Alex.
Alex. I didn't think that was a complicated question. Right. Okay. And
It's a combination.
I'm Johannes.
Johannes.
Right.
Alex and Johannes. And you have made
Waterdog.
Waterdog. Thank you.
So when the Hacker Camp Challenge was introduced, there was a table full of components from our full with components from RS Component, but below the table there was a stack of bottles of water, and I thought that was inviting. Not to use what's on the top of the table, what was below the table. So we went into working with water as a medium for sound. And I looked it up. RS Components has a huge catalog of materials, but a bottle of water is not in there.
Yeah, so we were thinking about various things about, like, music technology in general usually has quite high barriers to entry. There's usually quite a lot of different things you need to know before you can actually start making kind of expressive music. You know, there's quite a lot of things you'll have to learn, quite a lot of time you'll have to put in, or things will be very kind of pre-prepared. It's usually either kind of one or the other. And we're thinking about it particularly from like a perspective of for like children or people with developmental disorders and stuff, that specifically I was thinking of a family friend who's got a child who's severely disabled, and he's very, very focused on physical sensation. Like, that is his entire, like, that's what he's about, that's what he loves. He loves, like, squelching things and, like, staring at, like, changing lights and things like that. And when we kind of started working with water, I thought this would, like, it's a very nice thing to be able to kind of bring two senses together in a very direct way. So basically, hopefully this is working.
Wait.
Oh.
Turn on.
Ooh.
Sorry. Okay, go ahead.
So, we've got this container full of water, which has within it a contact microphone and a pressure sensor, which is using a tube to convert water pressure into then a little bubble of air, which creates the air pressure for the sensor. This is getting fed into stuff so that the audio coming from this, kind of the direct sound, is getting kind of mangled in relation to kind of waves being sensed by this pressure sensor. So you get interesting resonances and stuff that are dependent on the movement of the water in general. You can get some really like different sounds from it, depending on what kind of things you're doing with it, which is quite a nice thing because everyone can play with water. It doesn't really take any training. You don't have to kind of sit someone down and go like, right, this is how you approach this instrument. This is how you make meaningful things with this. It's literally just like exploration and like messing about with stuff. So like, yeah, this isn't, yeah. So, yeah, it's fundamentally, you can create music by touching the surface of the water, by doing, like, blowing bubbles in it, by dropping more water into the water, by basically just treating water as this substance to be moved around and explored through the processing of the audio that's coming in through there, along with the wave data which is being analyzed and then used to control the synthesis. Ideally, we would like to have this running, because this isn't running entirely battery-powered and like entirely separate of a computer. Like
no computer attached.
Yeah, so all the audio is happening within a chip in here. So we had some ideas to have, like, you could extremely easily just have like a small waterproof boat enclosure thing that just has the sensors attached onto it. All you do is you turn it on, it's got a speaker on it, place it on top of water, and then any water that it's in becomes a surface for you to make music with. So yeah, that's all due to this Axolotti chip. Whole thing that Johannes has made.
Yeah. So Axolotti is a development I've been doing. It's a board and a program. The board has audio in, audio out, and the computational power to compute real-time audio, and also SD card, MIDI, and GPIO similar to Arduino, so you can expand it with sort of any sensor or additional electronics. But the real challenging part was making software that allows to use all this power. So you can probably see, do you see my screen? So this project was developed as a document in Axolotti. So Axolotti is a modular object-oriented environment, a bit similar to MaximSP or Pure Data, where you select objects and wire them up together and adjust parameters. So Axolotti allows to turn this patch into to run it on a board and make your instrument, and then start using your instrument without the distraction of a computer or worries about setup or new versions of software. You just keep on using it.
Yeah, so literally, like, all we do with this at this point is you just kind of attach a battery to it, attach some kind of sound output, stick in the things that sense stuff, and drop it in water, and then play with water, and you can make stuff. So yeah.
So I'm making a live connection now between the software and the board inside this enclosure. On this chart plotter, you see the water waves running, and you can tune parameters of the sound algorithm real time. Before you burn it into hardware, you really need to. So now it's a more dry sound. So before you finalize the hardware, you can operate and interoperate with the hardware and make your tune.
Fantastic.
It's unreleased yet. It will be released. I can't give a schedule because I don't know when it's ready. It will be open source.
That's the nature of these things. Alex and Johannes, thank you very much. The Waterdog. Wonderful. Sean, you look like you're all ready to go next. This is Sean Manton. He came from Boston to come to this.
I'm one of those people he talked about who couldn't stay away.
Yeah. Well, Sean's kind of one of the family now. He came to Music Tech Fest Boston in March, won a hack challenge there, got involved with one of our hackers that we brought over from the UK, who wasn't a hacker when she arrived and left as one. But tell us what you've made, Sean.
All right. Am I showing up on the screens there? My screen? All right, cool. So what I made is a script that converts MIDI file recordings into 3D CAD models. And this would allow for a really nice 3D visualization of what's going on in music, and it could even potentially be 3D printed, so you can have a physical object to hold, to look at, to just enjoy the appearance of, or even if you're like music theory minded, you could look at this object in order to get a much better grasp in just a glance of what's going on with the music, versus just like trying to pore over sheet music and do theory analysis that way. So what I've got here is, this is a representation of a chromatic scale, and going up on this vertical axis, that represents time in the MIDI recording, and the circle around the angles represent notes, and the radius out from it represents the octaves. So you can see we've got a chromatic scale here, and it has gone up 1 octave by the time it's gone through all 12 notes. And it's a little richer example. This is a MIDI recording I'll play for you real quick. A second. So there's a drum and then someone playing some just various arpeggios in different chords. And so the blue here, different instruments are represented, and there are different MIDI tracks by different colors. So the blue is the drum track, the green is the piano, and you can see that by looking at this, there's the separations between the notes there. For the piano track, in MIDI, it's not so important for a drum track to actually have separation between the notes. So the drum track, you actually see these kind of, you can see where the hits are. The width represents velocity of these blocks, and there's these sort of drum lines going on. If you look for it, you can then kind of see where there's rotations going on in this changeover of the chords and whatnot. You can see it's an arpeggio structure, as like right here, this is in the same note line, but it's different octaves there, so that's the higher and lower octave that's going on in the arpeggio. And I'll stop boring you with such boring arpeggio stuff. I'll go to something probably more enjoyable and also familiar though. So this one, do a zoom out here. This is the Beatles' Let It Be, found the free MIDI file on the internet. And you can see there's a lot more instruments going on in this one. And you can really get an intuition just from like a glance of many features that are going on with it. For instance, this top right here, this is going to be C, and then counting around C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, B, C. So you can see there's a lot more stuff going on actually in C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Obviously, the song is in C major, and you could, just from a glance at this, if you gain some familiarity with how to interpret this system, you could look at it and know a song where the major tonalities of it lie, things like that. There's some stuff going on down here. It's not so clear. Why is there like this stuff in here? Let It Be is not such a dissonant song to even contain any of these out-of-key notes. Turns out, though, they are just the drum line. Again, you can see those like connected black ones. That's the drum line. So drum notes, obviously, they aren't really pitches anymore. They're not affecting the consonants or dissonants. Other features we can see are like the pink instrument. I'm not sure what it is in the recording, but it's going to be one of the higher pitched ones. As you can see, the pink is only really in the outer rings, so that's the upper octaves. Same with the tan. And I really think this sort of thing has a lot of potential, because if you were to 3D print this even, then you could get an even better view of what's going on than versus like just trying to manipulate it on screen, which is a little awkward, trying to get the views you want and all that. But then you could really have this object that's 3D, it's tangible, and it represents everything about the music in a way that you're not trying to read left to right and also up and down across a score to absorb what's going on with all the instruments. And that's already hard enough in just a single moment, let alone trying to understand the big picture of what's going on in a piece of music. Also, there's other applications. It could be kind of a fun physical medium for containing music. Once we have more ubiquity of 3D scanners and the like, you could write a little melody or find a MIDI melody you like and 3D print it for a friend and then give them this little object. And if they're musically minded and know how to look at this sort of system, maybe they could guess what song it is. If not, or either way, they can go throw it in a 3D scanner, do a reverse process, and you'll be playing the MIDI file of a song. And so it's a really nifty sort of possible physical medium that can remain relevant in an age when things are shifting to more digital means, but it would remain relevant through the fact that it is in fact created through these very futuristic technologies that we've got. And yeah.
Brilliant.
That's what I got.
3D printed and 3D scanned music. Sean Manton, thank you. Hello. Hello, hello. Yeah, as I was saying, 3D printed and then 3D scanned music files that you can have on the shelf. I quite like that idea a lot. Thank you, Sean. You're holding a guitar.
Guitar.
It's a guitar. Your name is?
My name is Jean, and I'm a musician. I go by the name Spider Lily on the internet. Yes,
Fantastic.
and I've made a song called Thinking Here, and also some audio visualizations. And tonight I'll be performing this for the first time.
Wonderful. Thank you. We're looking forward to this.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Amazing. Can I just ask you very quickly, how much of what we're seeing on the screen was coded overnight?
The screen?
Yes.
Yeah, it took me 24 hours to, if based on our codes by a guy called John, sorry, let me just have a code. It's based on the code by John Locke, and I hacked it within 24 hours and made some tricks to it.
Amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, Cheng.
Thank you.
Matan, we've seen you on this stage before. Welcome back. And Cyril Laurier, I know your names. Can you tell us what you've made and what you have attached to your head and your hand, please?
All right. First of all, I want to see if the computer's working. Sound? Okay. So, hello, my name is Matan, and this is Cyril. So, they say that the best music comes from both your mind and your heart. And we decided to take this quite literally and make an instrument out of the heart and the mind. Or more accurately, out of the pulse and brain waves. So what I have on my head right now is an EEG reader that I came here with. And what I have on my hand is a heartbeat reader that we actually made here. It was first made by Robert Wollner, which I met here on the first day and then had to leave to Italy and left behind this device that no one knows how to use. And we've been reverse engineering it. Cyril here has been reverse engineering it. And our friend
Elio
made this glove, which is obviously a prototype. And basically, when I hold my finger against these two infrared LEDs, what I'm getting is a reading of my heartbeat, which I'm making into MIDI. And it sounds like this. You can see that I might be quite excited. So now I'm going to open the EEG channel, the first EEG channel, and add a melody. If you guys are looking at the screen, we're now using the very left bar. It's a brain feature that's indicated by a blue bar. I'm going to open another brain feature. It's the fourth one. So this is music made by the brain and the heart together. And one of the inspirations, because trying to make musical sense out of this is a bit abstract, and I was thinking about Indian classical music. I play a little bit of sitar, and Indian classical music has a concept called alap, which is the beginning of a song. There's no sense of time. You're just playing over a drone, and you're playing a melody. And right now, the heart is providing the drone, and the mind is providing the melody. That's it. Thank you, guys.
Wow. That's seriously amazing, guys. I don't know what to say to that. That was Matan's body and mind that we were just listening to. Can I just get another round of applause for that? Because that's seriously amazing stuff. Thank you. Wow. We're having another how do you top that problem. Guys, what have we got here? Come on up, introduce yourselves.
Hi. I'm Emeric from Belgium, as my fellow companions. He's Jean, Pascal, and Edwin is going to come with us in a few moments. We made, we built some kind of setup. Can I hold? Yeah, thanks. Okay, so we've spent 24 hours busy building a setup that is intended to allow several users to play music together, electronic music, that they will be able to play live. That is to say, they will be played in real notes. There are no melodies pre-recorded. or anything of that kind. And what is really specific about this installation is that all the instruments that the users are gonna use are connected somehow with a set of rules which make each instrument influence each other. So I'm going to break the installation into smaller parts to be able to present you the different devices that we use. I don't know if I can get some camera support, or is the GoPro giving something? In fact, there are things happening in the computer, but the most interesting hacks happen on the table. Can I use this myself? Oh. I don't touch. Well, we'll start with the most basic concept. Here we got a first iPad, which is running a custom application we built last night, which is in fact 8 pads on the screen that simply trigger MIDI notes. And it is used to set the scale and the chords that the users are allowed to explore with the other interfaces. So he can act as a melody master of the whole concept. Yeah. We've got a second one, an iPad here that has been a little bit hacked. It's running another custom application. I guess you don't see anything. No. Okay. We have transformed this iPad into a multi-touch XY surface that allows to play melodies. And there are several other parameters that allow to modify the sound that you play. The screen is sensible to the size of the touch, but we also added a pressure sensor below the iPad that allows you to push really hard on the screen until something happens. As I said earlier, the notes available for this screen are determined, are fixed by the scale that are chosen. We are using some microcontroller here to get the pressure back into the computer. The third chapter is about this legacy joystick, which allows the user to play the bass. There are several options, like the Y-axis controls some morphing process about the sound. There's an intelligent pitch band that goes to seek the next valid note in the scale that has been defined. So the scale always comes from the first iPad. And finally, we have the fourth chapter of our story, which is some kind of wearable device, because it's based on a PS3 Bluetooth controller that has been stripped apart, and we replaced one of its analog joystick by a fader, which is equipped on its cap by pressure sensors. And you can see that we use this fader to play the drums and some additional melodies just by pressuring the cap itself. Yep. This device has a gyroscope, so it can, when you turn it, it influences the sound of the bass. Whoa. And all these devices send MIDI messages that are gathered into Ableton Live, where we have been using a lot of tools that we develop as part of our research, like the ability to play the drums with a fader or another special things. But maybe I won't go into too much details because do we see the images? Ah, yeah. In fact, it is happening on the lower left device, which is a Max for Live patch called Beat Fader. And it allows you to transform any fader into a triggering device. You see, you place notes on the course of the fader, and when you hit them, it sends notes, essentially. So here we have a demonstration with like 2 fingers. Yeah.
The same with 2 axes. So it's the same algorithm, just you have more sounds available. The funny things with the setup, you have to understand, because you cannot see that, but you can listen to, that anything that what you do on a device have an impact on the complete system. So if you listen to let's take something simple like this kick drum, okay? The pitch will change as we will advance in the chord progression. So to be able to hear the chords, I need to push this.
Thank you. Yeah, there's a lot of special options and many things very complicated in the setup. We would like to talk to you a few hours about everything that's included, but I think there's a schedule to respect here. So I give you back your mic.
That's fantastic. Thank you guys, that's amazing. And this is all created overnight and pieced together, gaffer tape included.
I forgot to present ourselves as a collective. We are Hermout Lobby from Belgium, a collective of musicians, technicians, programmers, and we do all sorts of things like software releases, records, installations, and soon, one day, maybe some hardware based on our research. So, meet you in the future.
Thank you, absolute delight to have you guys here. Thank you so much for coming. Here's Marius. Hello. How are you doing? What have you got for us?
Okay, so I have this game made with the, Google Maps and Freesound. Freesound is a website, sound repository where people upload various sounds, anything but not music. So they use it for movies or games and things like this, or even to create music. So basically, what I do, I take all of these sounds and populate a map, and I have Google Street View, and you're supposed to find a specific sound navigating around this map. So I did this game in JavaScript. You basically pick a street, you put the street name here, and yeah, it will gonna search it for you. Then you pick any word that you want. It will query the free sound for a sound associated to this word. So if you try, you can. And yeah, we have to find the violin sound now. Just navigating around. Just to get the game easier, I just put here the distance to target. So this tells you how many meters I'm away from this target. So now I'm quite far from the target. Get if maybe it's the other way. I'm going this way. So I also should have some spatial clues, like panning and things like this. I've done this using Howler.js, which is based on web audio API. So the idea is the closer you get to the sound, you should hear it like louder, and you should also have like panning cues. Oh, it's not here. Maybe it's one of the parallel streets. Yeah. Yeah, I'm getting closer to this. Yeah, 7 meters. Okay, it's around here. So I found the sound. So the idea is you are supposed to, you get another random sound, a different soundscape every time you play a new game. You get different kind of sounds. And if anyone wants to reuse this, it's on GitHub. So, for instance, I even wrote the class to make it easier to populate this map with sound. So you just give it a word. So I pick like 10 sounds which have the tag associated city. I picked 20 sounds which have the tag associated soundscape. I picked like 5 car sounds and 1 voice sound, and I put it all over this map. And of course the targeted tag, which is violin. So yeah, this can be developed further. I can look the name of the street on the Twitter or on news, and I can search sounds related to the words that are more related to that street or that area. So it can turn out in a nice game. Okay, thank you. That's it.
Marius, thank you so much. Geo-located sound, I think it's a fantastic idea. Congratulations, that's really impressive. Liepa.
Hello.
Who are your friends?
I'm Sean, and this is Emmy.
Hi.
And what are you working on? Do we have microphones? Because you can have mine. You can, please.
Marius, did you say where you came from? Marius, did you explain to the audience where you are doing your PhD?
In Music Technology Group in Pompeu Fabra in Barcelona.
Yeah, so they are a really fantastic center for music technology. I don't know if any of you know the Reactable that Björk performed with and recorded albums with. They invented it at this center, and they do some of the most incredible inventions there and developments of technology. So freesound.org, for instance, is the only academically run API available to developers currently. So I just wanted to highlight the center that you come from, because I think it's very important, and we've sort of partnered with these guys in previous projects. I'll pass you over to, shall I? I mean, do you guys want to introduce yourselves and tell us about your hack?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So we designed this thing called Spatial Orchestra. The idea that we had was basically that we wanted the easiest way to work with music possible, and the best way to do that would be able to allow people to continue to use the space that they're using as they would normally, but interpret that and then change and modulate the music that you might be making. So if you just have sensors put up around the room, either proximity sensor, light sensors, pressure sensors, flex sensors, so that you can put these all around the room, and basically as people go through the room and just interact with it as they normally would, then this can change the sound that you are having in that space.
Yeah, it's a lot of the idea is to actually use the sound that we gathered from this space. Ideally, we would want to do that in real time with microphones. Right now, we have some soundscapes that we've recorded yesterday, and we're using those. Unfortunately, we've just fried our Arduino board, so only our proximity sensor works currently.
So
but we can demonstrate the actual soundscape anyways, because we have dummy data on it.
Yeah, so just using dummy data, what we would do ideally is just take the data from the sensors and run it through, but we're just going to have to do that with the laptop at the moment, other than potentially with the proximity sensor, hopefully.
Yeah. Cool. Are we plugged in? So that's the soundscape in its kind of original form, and the proximity sensor can control the actual volume and intensity. Other sensors would have controlled other attributes like reverb, delay, feedback, and just some modulation. So, but I'm going to do that by hand now because
just to get an idea of what it would be like.
Are you thinking on track, like coming up with that, or what are some
So what we liked about this idea was basically that you could have something which started off as maybe like accidental, people going through a room and just experiencing and going through and changing sounds just by walking past the sensor and causing something. But as people started to learn what the sensors were doing, if it becomes more intuitive and you can see how each individual aspect works, you can get some real control over the sounds that you're having, and it's really like quite interactive and quite easy to do.
Yeah, so you build a soundscape from the actual soundscape of the room, which was all that we used besides pure data. So yeah, that's the idea.
Okay, thank you very much, guys. Cheers.
Amazing. Thank you so much, guys. This is the nature of the hack camp. There's always in the demo one thing that blew up just before the demo, but the fact that you've managed to show us what you've made anyway is a fantastic achievement. Chris and Cornelia have objects, lamps, and you've brought furniture. You've hacked space in a completely different way than these guys have hacked space. Do you want to tell us a little bit about it, please?
Am I on? Can you hear me? Yes. Brilliant. So we're going to just get this set up. Yeah, so I'm Chris, this is Cornelia. She's a professional musician, I am not so much, but we have put together a live performance, but an augmented live performance that requires some user participation or audience participation. The whole point of this is that we want to create the Ableton Live set available to the audience so that there is a specific amount of access to your live performance online. And by doing so, we're trying to create some elements inside of the arena that would actually be accessible, and that then you would use your mobile handsets to actually get inside and actually adjust the music as part of the as a participant. So we're trying to take the performance just outside of the stage. Instead of just an artist performing to you, we can actually have this as a collaborative experience. And I need to pick on a few people here. So how many people have got Android devices in the audience? Can we have as many Android devices as possible down the front, and you can be part of this experience with us? And would you like to say anything? You've got any bits?
Because you're already logged in, right?
Yeah, I'm all connected in. So
right. So do you want it to start from the beginning, basically? Just go.
Start low. So
is this on as well? Yes,
so,
it is.
So everyone with phones and NFC enabled. The whole point of this would be So this orb would normally be Arduino controlled. You can see how amazing it is right now, but right now I'm going to be the Arduino controller by proxy. The intention is that this would perhaps sit in the middle of the arena, and if you were performing on stage, you would come along and the artist would invite you to actually participate at a certain point. And you can come along here and you touch your phone to the device, and it launches up the application. And it's doing this via the web, so there's nothing to install. And then as soon as you've got this display, I don't know if you can see this here, we were going to do a visualizer, but we didn't quite get enough time. But you get access to certain parts of the intervention. So you can now play one of these parts. And you've got an XY pad, so you can affect it. You can actually play with the different parameters. And yeah, there's a few people we can bring in. So we need to get as many people as connected as possible, and then we can start a performance. So hold it on. There you go. Yeah, you've got to enable NFC first, and then choose your browser. Touch it on the back of your phone. Okay, launch it with Chrome. So take that away. You should all get given a part. There you go.
She said, come back another day. I'll do what you, just not today. Hold back, be strong if you can wait.
I'll come in the audience.
It's not too late.
Where everyone's got slots. Oh, we dropped out. The connectivity is gone. Okay. So I think the biggest lessons there are to test your software before going on stage. But yeah, the laptop didn't quite perform as we hoped, but that would have been a lot smoother with a bit more engineering and a bit more time and a lot less caffeine, perhaps.
Thank you so much. Chris and Cornelia and their furniture. Adam, you can't win a hack challenge.
I'm not presenting my own hack. We had someone who was hacking with us at the beginning, the talented LJ Rich, who unfortunately had to leave due to unforeseen circumstances, but continued to hack by proxy, and I will be delivering her hack through the form of a video she sent me, which we'll be sharing with you very shortly.
Fantastic. To give a bit of background, if you haven't come across Adam in person, other than performing on the stage, you're basically, that's permanently attached to you now, isn't it? Hold it.
It feels like a natural extension of my body now. I love it. I've grown to enjoy it, but it needs it needs like a flamethrower or something.
Yeah. Or web. You know.
Web cannon. Yes, mate.
Yeah, absolutely. Adam John Williams came to Music Tech Fest in 2012 as a young student. And now we bring him here as an old man. Adam won our Grand Hack Challenge in 2012 in a wheelchair, as it happens. He returned to Music Tech Fest in 2013, miraculously not in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
And now even less in a wheelchair. In fact, you become...
Yeah, what was it? Wheelchair the first year, crutches the second year, and this year just my super awesome carbon fiber extension of my leg. So I'm getting gradually...
Yes, but the way in which you got better is kind of fascinating, because you got better by means of a stroke.
Oh yeah, so I had a stroke, and then about 6 months afterwards, so I was already in the wheelchair, and then I had a stroke, which was like super unlucky. Yeah. But then like 6 months later, gradually with like physio and stuff, I could walk again, where I thought I was in that wheelchair forever. So yeah, quite a pleasant change, obviously.
Well, alongside of that, he came in 2013 with his crutches, which is where I met him for the first time, and he went and won the Grand Prize Hack Challenge that year as well. So we said, you're not allowed to do that anymore. Instead, will you come with us to Music Tech Fest and run the hack camps? And he's phenomenally brilliant at it, not just in terms of organising the hack camps and helping people with ideas, but just as a coach, as an organiser, as an inspiration for that. Can we have a big round of applause, please, for Adam John Williams?
Come on.
He also happens to be a phenomenal musician. And has the kind of brain that you kind of envy. So I'm a massive amount of admiration.
Come on, man,
for
my
Adam,
head's going to explode. This is crazy.
You can buy me a drink later, as arranged. But yes, Adam is now, he's come with us to New Zealand for Music Tech Fest, and you kind of liked it?
I loved it, man. I could live there in a second. It was great.
And Boston, which was all right?
It was amazing.
Yeah.
Just the quality at every single Music Tech Fest has been absolutely shocking. It somehow gets better every time. At some point, it's going to peak and then crash like the stock market.
Yeah. One is going to be terrible, isn't it? No. We plan not to let that happen. Adam is now, like me, somebody who came to Music Tech Fest and pretty much never went home, and now he's part of it. So, again, a big round of applause for Adam John Williams, and he's going to present LJ Rich, who couldn't be here.
Can I just tell you something, Adam? CJ, who won one of the prizes in Boston, has done a remote hack.
Oh, has he got a video as well?
He's uploading it right now. So
I'll play LJ's remote hack first.
Play LJ's
then
first.
Someone get me a link or something. Can you see LJ on there now?
Yeah, we can.
And we got audio? Right, I'll play hers and then we'll sort CJ's one out. Remote hacking by proxy, that's hacking the hack. I love it.
Good morning, Music Tech Fest. I really wish I could be there with you this afternoon and evening to present my hack and experience the rest of the festival. So instead, I'm going to present my hack remotely. Okay, this is all about making music television viewing a lot more interesting. It's aimed at ultra-connected two-screen viewing, high consumption on mobile, uber-trendy crowd. And the basic premise is that the viewer can choose a more active way to experience their telly. So the first one, you can just skip straight to the chorus by pressing a button. The chorus is the thing that sells the songs. If you like the chorus, you might want to hang on for the verse. But why not go for the chorus first? Okay, this is allowing you to take two streams of information at once. So, in the first instance, if someone is being interviewed and their music's playing underneath, you can actually toggle between them. So if you want to hear the music, press the space bar and the music video comes up and the audio from the interview is ducked. And when you want to kind of go back to the interview, you just press the space bar again.
Teaching and maybe sing some, Stevie Wonder covers at the weekend to earn a buck and to earn my bread.
Okay, the next one is if you don't have time to listen to everything, why not speed it up without changing the pitch? Or if you wanted to, you could change the pitch. That way you can get through more songs. Peer pleasure. This is listening to bits of music, the best bits that other people have marked as good. That's almost like bookmarking and sharing your highlighted favourite bits with other people. Option number 5 is extra content, and this could be anything from fan-made footage to things that sound very, very similar to remixes, both official and unofficial. And this is really, instead of searching for stuff yourself, it's served up to you, ready for you to share. The last one that I didn't get a chance to do was anti-social media, and that's if an artist is talking a lot about their tweets and their followers and their life, and you're more interested in the music, then it would just damp down those channels and just leave the bits where the artist is talking about the music instead. So that's it. I hope you like my hack, ADHD, and I'll see you very soon. Have a wonderful rest of Music Tech Fest. Bye.
Can you kill my display a moment? I need to get this CJ video sorted out. I really enjoyed that hack when I first saw it. I think it's something that came to LJ in the middle of the night after taking a look at this footage that MTV very kindly provided specifically for a video-based kind of media consumption hack. And I just saw this light bulb go on above her head, and she didn't start working on it until probably at least 3 in the morning.
Can I tell you what happened leading up to that light bulb going on over her head? She had a paper bag that she was making notes on, scrawling ideas on. And up the top, she'd written the word hack bag. And she got to a point where she stopped making notes on the bag and started hacking the bag and started attaching LEDs to it. And the little lights came on her paper bag before they came on over her head. I wondered if she'd put the paper bag over her head. But I'm glad that that's not what she ended up displaying, because actually that's phenomenal. So you've got something from CJ for us?
Well, yeah, what's... Yeah, well, we can come back to it. That's not a problem. Okay, right. You haven't got my display there now, have you? Because
we don't have your display.
In that case, I've already had a chance to chat with some judges, and we're ready to probably do some awards.
Fantastic.
In that case. Right, I'm going to unplug this. So, as you know, we did have kind of multiple categories and lots of incredible stuff. You've all made it so difficult this year because the quality of work submitted was just so high. I mean, first of all, from everyone else, can I just have a massive round of applause for all the hackers, because I think they've been utterly brilliant. And before we get to our big prizes, there are a few things I have to give out. RS, our sponsors, the hackathon of the big challenge, and they provided all the gear we've used. Also, any challenges, any kind of entries that they thought were kind of inspiring in some way, or that kind of captured what we're really going for with the competition, whilst not necessarily fitting exactly within one of the challenges, they decided to reward some of those with just some spot prizes. So let me grab my list, and we've got some tasty little bits of gear. Can I first have the team of the Bendagorn on stage momentarily? Come on up. We were really inspired by the fact that you built the sensors yourself. I was quite amazed by it, considering my own hack on my hand is so reliant upon bend sensors, and you just went and won up by building your own bend sensors. So we thought it would be cool to give you some modular Atmel AVR gear with all kinds of different sensors you can assemble into different interesting ways, whilst also hacking it in your true DIY style yourself. So well done. I thought it was really brilliant. I'll give you this selection of tiny boxes, and we can go through it a little bit later, because I've kind of had a little chance to have a look at them already. But well done. Thank you very much. Mind that cable. For another spot prize, can I have team of the Spatial Orchestra? Team Spatial Orchestra. They're around somewhere. Okay, in the meantime, can I have the creator of MIDI SCAD? Come on up, Sean. as we've pointed out, Sean's one of our amazing international hackers who we met at the Music Tech Fest in Boston. And I thought it would be kind of cool to give you a super powerful dev kit board. Open it up, man. We'll play around with it a little bit later on. Check it out, dude. I'm really impressed by them, and I think that you in particular could do something really cool with it. And I thought your project was totally amazing, man. Well done. And I'm so glad you came all the way to London for this, man. This is brilliant. Yeah, thank you very much, dude. Well done. Spatial Orchestra will be revisited in that case. So, well then let's start with our prizes. So first we're going to do the SoundLab and FXpansion Accessible Music Expressivity Prize. Ashley, I think you're going to come and talk about this. Have you got a microphone? There's a handheld there for you, dude.
Hi, I'm Ashley, and I'm from Heart and Soul. We're an organisation that work with artists who have learning disabilities, and we run a project called SoundLab. SoundLab is about looking at musical interfaces that help people, predominantly with learning difficulties or restricted movement, make music and collaborate on making music. And it was fantastic to be part of the hack this weekend. And I was completely overwhelmed by just the sheer quality of the projects that have been submitted. And I have to say it was really, really difficult to decide on the winner of this prize. So I'm just going to, I need to say that just a massive thank you basically to Music Tech Fest for allowing us to be part of this. That in itself was a completely overwhelming thing for what is really quite a small project, and to FXpansion for the prize that they've given to this. So just go ahead and announce it. I can't.
Yeah, come on, do
so,
it.
Okay, it was so hard just to decide. There were so many really good projects, but the one that really did stand out and that I think has a lot of potential for us in SoundLab to develop further is shared tech space. So that's Andrew.
Yeah, Andrew Faraday.
Yeah. Congratulations. Thank you.
And what was that prize again?
The prize from FXpansion was £2,000 worth of their software. So, well done.
And SoundLab are going to...
And in addition to that, we also want to work with you to develop the project and try and integrate it into what we're doing with SoundLab. So we'll talk about that later. Great.
Well done. Thank you very much, Ashley. Can I kill the sound from my computer so I can unplug it, please? Yep. That nod was misunderstood by me. Sorry, I thought I'd asked. Right, okay, next up. Sorry, we just had the team I was looking for a couple of moments ago arrive inside. I was trying to award you a spot prize since, for one thing, apparently you blew up your Arduino during your project. Guys, come and grab a bag of goodies from Atmel, creators of Arduino, courtesy of RS Components, please. I thought your use of sensors and stuff was brilliant. It's a real shame that you managed to kill that board, but have a little look through the stuff in there. It's like a modular Atmel prototyping platform that kind of lets you use much more different, interesting kinds of stuff. So give it a go with that. Maybe that will work a little bit better. Thank you very much, though, guys. Well done. Yep.
Entirely, but can I get Andrew to come back and just stand here with his award?
Oh, okay.
The award right here.
I had it in front of us while you're doing it. You need to... Come on up, Andrew. Oh. This is so ad hoc. We literally don't have time to print certificates, and we have to do it digitally in true hacker style.
It's all done in the last minute.
You don't get to keep the computer, though,
Of course,
mate.
we don't know until the last minute who the award winner is going to be until the judges give a final vote. So I just wanted to make sure that Andrew gets a photo with his award. And the awards are digital. We'll post them on Twitter as well.
Well done. So next we have the RS Open Challenge. So they wanted to be able to grant an award to someone who made something that didn't necessarily fit into one of the existing categories. And so I think we have a representative from RS here, 2 representatives from RS. We have been spoiled today to come and hand over a prize. Have we got microphones? So you guys come and join me. Do you guys want to briefly introduce yourselves as well? Do you want to briefly just introduce yourselves and we'll get the...
Hi there. So I'm from RS, and we're absolutely delighted to have been here all weekend, provided quite a few of the components for the hacks. We've had quite a few, yeah. We've had a huge amount of fun kind of watching you guys create stuff over the whole weekend, and just using some of those components. It's been a real delight, and I think I'd echo the comments that have already been said, that it's been really, really difficult to make a decision in terms of the winner for these prizes. But I'm going to hand back over to Adam to talk about kind of where we've got to on that.
Thank you very much. So for the RS Open Challenge, could I have the team from Systemic Music and Other Treats? Come on up, gentlemen. Absolutely. I mean, so the thing with these guys, what they built, we were so amazed by, and it had the potential to fit simultaneously into so many different prize categories. It was either they were going to have to win in multiple other categories, or it was going to be the open prize, and we were super, super impressed. Thank you very much, gentlemen. You have your, yeah, okay. We'll revisit this one in a few moments. That was, oh, sorry, of course. Our RS prize. I thought we were our handing over was being done by someone else. I don't hand over checks myself, but so you win for your.
The challenge was £200 worth of gear.
Yeah,
right?
For your future projects. £200 of anything you like from the extensive section.
£200 worth of RS components, gear, guys, and
we'll also be tracking the progress of what you've been developing as well, so it'd be great to catch up and have that conversation too.
So on RS videos and things like that, and basically, yeah. This carries on.
Thank you, gentlemen. Well done.
Slightly uncoordinated this end.
I thought someone else was handing over the... I don't do logistical amounts of money and such. I'm in a totally different headspace here. Music Tech Fest could take years off my life while simultaneously making it much, much better. It's very confusing.
You know, after all that, all that wheelchair and stroke experience and crutches and everything else, and then he went off. We took him around the world, and he jumped twice off the Sky Tower in New Zealand, bungee jumping.
Oh, yeah, it was great. I would do that again right now. It was brilliant. Had some good GoPro video from it too. Although Alex's tri-rotor helicopter from earlier would have been good to film that, wouldn't it? That would be great. Third thing we're going to announce is the MTV Hack the Gig challenge. So they gave us some great video content and asked people to come up with new ways to utilize that. And in this case, it's going to, unfortunately, she's not present, but it's ADHD TV by LJ Rich.
We'll have to get LJ photographed with it.
Yeah, I'm sure we can sort that remotely at another time, but it had to be her. She has obviously extensive...
And basically, the award is to develop the stuff with the MTV innovation team. So some of the key members of the team. So
and it was just...
Some of the ideas.
It was just totally going to be her. She's obviously worked in media. She has a great handle on it. And when I saw that idea come kind of fully formed in her head, and she just then worked solidly on it for hours, it was really great.
With all the stuff she's developing, I'm not sure when she's going to have the time, but...
if there's one person that's good at putting a project together very quickly, it's LJ Rich. She recently pitched to me the idea of playing a gig in the Science Museum, and I said, yeah, that sounds fun. And the next thing was a phone call from her saying, all right, it's booked. We'd done literally nothing, and she'd sold them on the idea. She is a miracle worker. Next up we have from Beggars, the Hack the Fan Experience. And here we are getting the ability to develop the idea further.
There was a year's worth of vinyl.
Yeah, you get vinyl from Beggars for a year and get to develop the idea further. And so while we were originally looking at kind of video-based content, we started to look at, interesting ways that fans were experiencing their live music and all kinds of stuff like that that went with their whole content delivery thing. And in this case, it had to be the team of Live Drive. Yeah, come on up, guys.
They're surprised.
Well, your hack in itself was not directly video-based. Your ability to kind of work out a new way to utilize kind of musicians' content in a live scenario was just utterly brilliant and really kind of excited us. And that kind of...
Thank you. You're going to have to hold this and pose.
This is the best one.
Yeah, well done, guys.
Well, hopefully we get to do it actually really live. We need to do some testing first.
Yeah, a little bit. But thanks for all being our guinea pigs today. This has been one experience that you probably won't see for a while. So.
Well, with addition, in addition to that year of vinyl from Beggars, you also have the ability to develop that idea with them. So I'm sure some interesting stuff will come from it. Well done, guys. I was really impressed by that project.
Once again.
And so next we have our big RS prize for musical wearables. And so obviously I'm a big fan of this myself. Anything that makes you a bit robotic and cool is generally amazing in my books. But I think there was lots of really great attempts at the wearables things. It seemed to really capture people's imagination, and was some great use of the stuff that RS had brought, as well as people working on their own independent projects for the wearable stuff. And this one was really, really difficult to decide because everyone really did so well. But it's going to be going to the team from Biosynth. Yeah. Where not only was your project wearable, but musically beautiful. I absolutely thoroughly enjoyed it. So you win £500 worth of anything you want from RS Components to use in your ongoing projects. And also, as we said previously, we're going to be following your progress with this idea, because I think they really like to see what people do with the equipment, and you've obviously just taken an idea and run with it in a really brilliant way. Well done, guys.
Yeah. As I said, I think it's fantastic effort. Really stood like head and shoulders above everything, and really, really fantastic effort. So thank you so much. Yeah.
Whilst also being musically beautiful, which I think is really paramount to what we're doing here. Well done, guys.
Yeah, perfect.
And finally, we have the Music Tech Fest, sort of our own grand prize of what we call the Rethink Music Award, which is doing something that, totally reinvents, musical performance or interaction in some way. And this, again, was a super, super difficult one. And we just said that we'd take the winners with us to Music Tech Fest in Berlin.
Yeah.
And after much deliberation, we decided to award this to the team of Waterdog, instrumentizing water.
Winners of the grand challenge of the Music Tech Fest.
It was so
London,
unlike anything I'd ever seen before.
Right, Johannes Tillman, if I did pronounce that correctly, and Alexander Walters. Well, you're called Alex, right, to everybody
Alex
in
Walchester.
the room.
Told me to put in my full name, so I did.
Right, there you go.
Hold it, hold it, hold it. Here we go.
Well done, guys. I saw these.
You better book your dates, because Berlin is running 24th to the 27th of October.
Right.
Yeah, at Fraunhofer, right? So we're going to one of the...
We're at Fabric. Sorry, what did I say? Fabric. We were near Fabric yesterday.
If we hosted Music Tech Fest at Fabric, I would be there every day.
No, well, Factory Berlin is pretty damn cool. So
Excellent.
You know what's there. All the guys from Ableton, SoundCloud, Native.
Also, it's just down the road from Berghain, right?
And
yeah, thumbs up from Dubba.
We're doing it with Fraunhofer and Berklee College of Music.
That's really wonderful, and you're coming with us, guys. I can't wait. I'm super excited to have you there. But again, that was so unlike anything we'd ever seen, whilst being absolutely incredible. And seeing you wrapping those microphones in condoms in the middle of the night just inspired me. It was confusing and musical and sexy all at the same time. It was just great. Well done, guys. It was absolutely brilliant. Well done, David.
Wonderful. Thanks so much, Adam.
That's it.
That's the Hack Camp for Music Tech Fest 2014. Can I get one more big round for all of the hackers, including Adam, who stayed up all night making these amazing, amazing things?